and welcome to Every Rom Com, now streaming for the week of February 8th through the 15th, 2021.
It's Valentine's week.
Yes, it's Valentine's week, and Sophia and I will be giving you some Valentine's week streaming recommendations, as well as letting you know where you can find some of the movies from recent and upcoming episodes of the podcast.
We'd also like to let you know that you can follow the podcast on social media. Our Facebook page is Every Rom Com podcast and blog. We're on Instagram at Every Rom Com, and we will be on Twitter and Pinterest soon.
And as always, you can find the podcast at everyromcom.com. Send us feedback at feedback@everyromcom.com. And if you like what you hear, please rate and subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts so you never miss an episode.
Now for the week of February 8th through the 15th, we'll let you know what's streaming. First, here's where you can find some of the movies we've covered on the podcast.
So we did our first episode on Moonstruck, a film that we all loved, and you can find Moonstruck right now on the Roku channel.
The second film we covered was Long Shot, and that is on Cinemax.
And the third film we covered was Bell, Book, and Candle, and that one is available on the Criterion streaming service, but it will be leaving on February 28th. So this is your chance to get on that, and it's never been a better time to get a subscription to Criterion. So here's what we've got coming up for some of our upcoming episodes.
This Thursday, we'll be releasing the podcast for The Half of It, which is on Netflix. And I have to say, this might be my favorite film that we've covered and watched so far. It's beautiful, and I recommend it to everybody.
Yeah, wonderful film, directed by Alice Wu. Really looking forward to sharing that with you guys. And after The Half of It, we will be moving on to Clueless. And Clueless is currently available on Pluto TV. And of course, a lot of these movies are also available on Amazon.
And here's where you can find some of the films mentioned in the show or on the blog.
For our Long Shot episode, we recommended a few different movies as double features with Long Shot. One of them was Bombshell, which is not a rom-com, but it's a great movie with Charlize Theron. It's available on Prime and Hulu right now. Another film we thought would go great with Long Shot is Always Be My Maybe, available on Netflix. And it's always a good time to watch that movie. Check it out. And finally, one of the other recommendations that Sybil made was Take This Waltz, which is currently available on Canopy.
On Bell, Book, and Candle episode, we talked about I Married a Witch, which is on Turner Classic Movies, also on HBO Max, and The Witches of Eastwick, which is also on HBO Max. And I'm going to let Jen cover the next movie we talked about in that episode, since it's one of her favorites.
Yeah, so another movie that we recommended and referenced in Bell, Book, and Candle episode, it will double as my first streaming recommendation for Valentine's week, and that is The Love Witch, directed by Anna Biller. It is now streaming on Prime, and it's also on the horror streaming service Shudder. So, as you may have guessed, since it's on a horror movie site, it is a non-traditional pick. It's kind of a horror, comedy, romance hybrid. I think, though, that it's a really good Valentine's week pick for a lot of different people. So people who like horror movies, obviously, might enjoy it. But also people who like auteur filmmaking, just like a complete vision. Because director Anna Biller, she wrote it, she directed it, she edited it, she produced it, she did costume and set design, she did music, and she made the costumes and a lot of the set pieces for this movie. She's just amazing. And it's also a great film for people who are just, they're having a rough time with love right now. They're going through a bad patch romantically. Or for people who just are a little cynical about Valentine's Day or love, or like a feminist critique. This movie works for so many different people. And I'm always recommending it. I probably drive people crazy posting about it on Facebook a few times a year, because it's such a special movie. And it's so good that I almost want to keep it to myself. But at the same time, I want to share it with everyone.
So Jen, I'm going to watch it. Now the horror nice. Part turns me off because I'm so not a horror fan, but everything else I think is going to trump that. So
well, I can't wait to find out what you think of it. So
I know. I kind of can't.
And I wish I could watch it with you so I could tell you when to cover your eyes. But
I might just. I'm good at that. I'm good at covering my eyes in anticipation. So my first recommendation is absolutely a not traditional Valentine's Day flick. It's kind of a double feature. It's Ocean's 11 and Ocean's 12, and they are on Netflix right now till the end of February. So you only have till the 28th. And while this is under the action adventure comedy genre, don't be fooled. The plot blurb says recently released from prison, Danny Ocean, the ever dreamy George Clooney, assembles a team of 10 accomplices to rob 3 casinos in Vegas. That's true. That is the plot. But the motive behind this particular heist is, of course, love.
Hmm.
Uh, while Danny and the guys work out the ins and outs of robbing 3 Vegas casinos, Danny is also working to win back the love of his ex wife, Tess, played by Julia Roberts. Um, I love these films. I've watched them so many times because they are funny, they are well written, they're so stylish, and such great performances from the ensemble, and it doesn't get old for me. And watching Danny go through all this thieving effort because of his love for Tess
Hmm.
just gets me all warm
Nice.
and fuzzy. And then in Ocean's 12, the gang gets back together 3 years later. Under the pressure to repay their foe from Vegas, the team reunites in Europe, but comes against a master thief with designs for the same heist. So the same cast with the wit, charm, and style of the first film. This love story is between Rusty, which is Brad Pitt, and his ex-girlfriend Isabel, played by Catherine Zeta-Jones, who is a Europol agent hot on the case.
Hmm.
So they've got a couple adversaries against them this time. Before it
Yeah.
was just, the Vegas owner. Now it's this master thief and Rusty's ex-girlfriend, who is a police, the cops. It's filmed in Amsterdam, Rome, and Paris. And I think these films are great if you have a significant other who is completely against the rom-com genre. This is a nice happy medium. It's a good compromise because it's so funny. There's a little bit of that action, and there's fancy clothes and style and a love story, and there's no violence and gore that you would find in a hardcore shoot 'em up action film. So win-win with a fantastic cast of, Brad Pitt, Matt Damon, Don Cheadle, Elliot Gould, Carl Reiner, directed by Steven Soderbergh. So it's a fun romp.
So for my second recommendation, I actually changed it just before filming, because we learned of Christopher Plummer's passing, just a fantastic actor. And so my second recommendation is a film that he was in called Beginners, which came out in 2010. It's currently available on HBO Max. And he actually won an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor for his role in this film, where he plays a father who comes out as gay in his 70s after his wife's death. And in the film, it's partly about his story, but it's also about his son, played by Ewan McGregor, who is in the process of falling in love with a woman played by Melanie Laurent, who you might recognize from Inglourious Bastards. And the couple, they've had trouble staying in relationships in the past. So they're kind of the title Beginners kind of refers both to Christopher Plummer's character and to their relationship. And it's just there's a lot of death in the film, but it's very life affirming, because the film reminds you that time is precious, life is precious, love is something that's worth, risking something for. And there's also a great rom-com dog in this movie who has like some subtitled dialogue. So, that's a great touch to the film as well.
I'm so glad you recommended this one. I was thinking of it as well, with Christopher Plummer's passing, as it was beautiful, just a lovely story, and for all the reasons you said. So highly recommend as well. So my second recommendation is West Side Story, which just appeared on Hulu. If you haven't seen it yet, by now, this is your chance. Based off of Romeo and Juliet, you have warring gangs instead of rival families. The Puerto Rican Sharks versus the White Jets. It takes place in New York City's Upper West
Mm.
Side in the 50s. The film was made in 1961, directed by Robert Wise, and directed and choreographed by Jerome Robbins. The book was written by Arthur Lawrence. The music is by Leonard Bernstein, and lyrics are by Stephen Sondheim. This is legends galore.
Yeah.
The film was nominated for 12 Academy Awards and won 10. So I watched a little bit of it as I was writing up my little blurb, and I admit that it could be kind of hard for maybe young people today to embrace the stylized choreography of the fight scenes and such. But for the time, it was brand new style, and it is a must watch for its place in popular culture and its influence on musicals thereafter. And finally, you can't beat the star-crossed lovers love story.
No, it's a great film. Great film.
So beautiful. Yeah.
So, for my third recommendation, it's not a musical, but this film has a lot of music in it. I recommend Monsoon Wedding, which is on the Criterion streaming channel. So, this just popped up on Criterion. It's directed by Mira Nair, and you can also find a lot of her shorts right now, short features and documentaries alongside Monsoon Wedding. So, if you're a fan of hers, it's just a great time to join Criterion again. And this is going to be a double feature recommendation too for one of our upcoming episodes on Bride and Prejudice. Those two films would go really well together. And I should mention that this film might not be for everyone for Valentine's week because there's a significant dramatic element to it as well. There is an allusion to sexual abuse in the film. So, if that's not what you're in the mood for right now, I totally understand. But at the same time, it's a very beautiful, loving, life-affirming film with several love stories in it. There's music, just vibrant colors and costumes, just beautiful set design, fantastic film. And I should also say that once I love this film so much, I once had it checked out for an entire year from the library in Portland because you could do that for some reason.
And at that point, I think you just need to buy it. Like that means it's a keeper forever. My third recommendation is While You Were Sleeping, which is on Disney Plus right now. It is from 1995. I remember seeing it in the theaters, featuring Sandra Bullock and Bill Pullman. It is such a sweet love story. It takes place in Chicago, which is also near and dear to my heart. And, there's a bit of mistaken identity. And one of my favorite themes in a film or any story is that family ensemble, family banter, family getting into everybody's business. And it's fantastic. And I usually watch this at Christmas time. This will probably be featured again in length around
Yeah.
the holiday season.
Yeah. Yeah, just because we mention a film on here doesn't mean we're not going to do it in the future. In fact, it might make it more likely that we'll do it in the future.
Definitely, definitely.
So, my fourth and final recommendation is going to be The Parent Trap from 1961, which is also on Disney Plus at the moment. And this is just a classic film, a childhood favorite of mine, featuring Haley Mills. And I think it would be a great Valentine's Day movie for people with a family or people who just want to watch something kind of like with childlike innocence and nostalgia. So the main story is Haley Mills plays these identical twins who were separated at birth, but they find each other at camp. But the B story is a rom-com story where the twins are trying to get their parents back together. And the parents are played by Maureen O'Hara and Brian Keith. I love Maureen O'Hara, and the two co-stars, they have such great chemistry in the movie. Like I could feel it even when I was a kid. And I just think it's a really fun movie with musical numbers and summer camp scenes. Here it's really cold right now, so it's nice to watch something in a warm environment. And I'll also sneak in that if you're on Disney Plus, The Sound of Music, which of course is Christopher Plummer's most famous film, probably his most famous role, is also available at the moment. So yeah, a lot of great things are streaming right now.
We got our daughter to watch Parent Trap, and she loved it as well. We're like, you're gonna love this one. It's timeless classic. So good recommendation. And we hope you all enjoyed this special bonus episode of Every Rom Com. And as our schedule allows, we'll continue to offer offer this in the upcoming weeks.
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah.
Me too.
And we'll also be releasing another full-length episode on Thursday covering The Half of It, available on Netflix, directed by Alice Wu. And this will be kicking off a series of modernizations of classic literature.
And if you like what you've heard today, please subscribe and rate our show on Apple Podcasts and or drop us a line at feedback@everyromcom.com. And we'd love to hear what you're streaming and loving these days.
Yes, we would. And whether you're solo or coupled, in a family, or just chilling with your pets, we wish you all a happy Valentine's Day. Until next time.